Uganda's tourism industry has recovered from a riotous past that led to the rapid decline in foreign tourists. Peace and security that the country has experienced in the last 3 decades is attributed to this tourism vibrancy.
First of all, we must celebrate that we started on the right track. By 1966, Uganda was one of the top 3 visited destinations in Africa. We had the infrastructure, we had the ferries on the lake, we had the game parks well managed, and then disaster occurred. To a large extent, the dark years of political instability chased away our tourists.
Tourism is one of the fastest growing sectors in the country, attracting millions of visitors and billions of dollars in revenue annually. Statistics from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics shows an upward growth trajectory. In 2016, tourism contributed at least $1.35 billion into Uganda's export basket. In 2017, revenue increased to at least $1.4 billion. In 2018-2019 financial year, Uganda Bureau of Statistics shows a revenue growth of about $1.6 billion and an increase of visitors to 1.8 million. In the last financial year, revenue from tourism is estimated to have closed to the $2 billion mark.
At the moment, I'm told there are 1.9 million arrivals. When we left UTB, 1.4 million arrivals were spending about 1.5 billion US dollars. So going with those ratios, assume every tourist that comes here will blow about $1,000. You can be confident to claim that the tourism industry contributes about 2 billion US dollars to this economy per year. In a country where our GDP is not yet 30 billion, that is a significant contribution that would closely come to even more than 10% if you, slightly less than 10% if you wish.
A successful tourism industry creates a strong value chain that impacts positively on livelihoods and the overall economic growth of the country. Over the years, Uganda's tourism sector has influenced the growth of the service industry. Hotels and lodges catering for a diverse clientele have mushroomed all over the country. Areas of focus that can spur the sector growth include aggressive promotion and marketing, diversifying tourism product range, improving tourism and hospitality skills.
So Masai Mara alone collects far much more money compared to all the national parks in Uganda. And you can also see the rooms. Masai Mara by the end of this year will have 5,000 rooms. Yeah? All our 10 national parks combined inside have less than 2,000 beds. All of them combined. And Masai Mara is what? 2,500 square kilometers? Far much smaller than Mason Falls National Park. And the value you get in Mason Falls National Park is much higher than you would get in Masai Mara.
One of the binding constraints in the developing the sector has been the human capacity gap. If you go to all these hotels, most of the managers are foreigners. Why? Because we have not trained Ugandans to that level of manning institutions. And that institution is being revamped. It's a big contract now. You need to watch them so that they complete the work on time. And also you need, again, to follow up on partnership with this institution. To become a center of excellence will take more than what we have here.
Strengthening conservation, improving tourism support infrastructure, and preserving natural and cultural heritage assets are also key in fast-tracking sector growth and development.
Tourism has the potential to contribute significantly to economic development. It tends to be labor-intensive, and therefore the growth of the sector translates into more employment, higher incomes, and the transformation of communities. Tourism in Uganda has the potential to promote fast, sustainable, and more inclusive growth. It can be used as a powerful weapon to tackle poverty and inequality, as it employs a high percentage of women and youth.
Some of its proposals which directly impact on the tourism industry have attracted scrutiny and sometimes condemnation. For instance, The plan to build a power dam on the Murchison Falls National Park has been vehemently opposed by the private sector players and environmentalists.
Because a third of the total tourists who come to the country, if we lose them, and what is attracting them to the Murchison Falls National Park is actually the falls themselves. And finally, if it becomes Murchison Falls Dam, I don't know what it will be called, that will be a total nightmare and it will be very, very bad.
Government's defense on such proposals is anchored on the country's Vision 2040, whose key objective is transforming Uganda from a peasant to an industrialized economy. At the center of these ambitious targets is electricity, an engine of industrialization.
Tourism is a service, no doubt. But this service is a commodity service. Commodity service because it involves inviting foreigners to see you in your state of nature, unaffected by civilization. No country can ever succeed by investing in agro-processing or tourism. What we need is value-added manufacturing.
Tourism will continue to be one of Uganda's highest revenue earners for decades to come, but the sustainability of the industry will rely most likely on a strong public and private partnership, peace and security, products diversification, environmental conservation, and citizens' participation, among others.
I think we still lack domestic tourism. When we are promoting tourism, we also need to look at ourselves. How many places have we visited, us as Ugandans? And to make matters even more difficult, as the people from Buganda, we don't move out to see what is in Kabale, what is wherever.
Despite the successes of the tourism industry, experts and stakeholders have in the recent years urged government to increase budgetary allocation to the sector in order to compete favorably in marketing destination Uganda to the world. Reporting for UBC News, Penina Nahwera.